Okay, subscribers. I didn't even realize there were a couple of you here as YouTube subscribers. So thank you very much. I'm going to start making videos for you guys weekly. This one is something that I already made on the Patreon a few days ago. And it's about a specific type of thinking that I've experienced from a lot of skateboarders. A lot of skateboarders, we tend to be very emotionally connected to skateboarding, which is a good thing because it makes us feel good. It's fun, and it can do very positive things for your life. It can help you socially and all those wonderful things. But because of that, a lot of skaters tend to think of it magically. And what I say when I say magical thinking is they tend to think skateboarding is this isolated, magical thing to which the laws that govern everything else don't apply. And that's just not true. And where that extends as far as learning skating and becoming a better skater is there's a lot of skaters, and this mentality was much more prevalent when I was learning to skate in the 90s and the early 2000s, but it is still pretty much ubiquitous with skaters nowadays. It's the mentality that they don't think you can learn to skate better by applying the same tactics that you would use to learn anything else. And that comes from a few places. It comes from just general ignorance on the part of a lot of dudes. A lot of skaters, we love them, but they tend to be some kind of ignorant dudes. They're not very educated in other things outside of skateboarding. And with some people, that's what makes them a good skateboarder, because they put that much focus into it. And a lot of them have this emotional tie, and they're unable to divorce their emotional connection to skateboarding from what it is objectively when you measure it against things in the world. But the truth is, any activity that you can engage in, you're going to benefit from engaging in it methodically. What I mean by methodically is if you're learning how to ollie, but you don't know how to squat down and keep your back relatively straight, you don't know how to use your arms to help you balance, you don't know to use your toes as the part of the board that you push into the deck so that your ankle is a lever instead of your leg acting as one piston into the board, giving you more control over the action, right? Doing all of these things and incorporating them into your ollie is going to make you ollie better. But a lot of the guys that'll tell you you don't need to learn these movements, they're coming from a place where they've been ollieing for 5, 10, 15, 20 years already. And a lot of individuals are incapable of putting themselves back into the mind of a beginner and remembering what it was like to be a beginner, to be trying to learn these things. And so they're unable to contextualize how beneficial it might be for someone to break things down into the movements. I do jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I go to a school where everything is broken down the same way that I break down skateboarding. And Anthony Cato, who developed the method of teaching that kata employs, he says that a lot of jiu-jitsu guys have the same mentality. So even this regressive and ignorant mentality is not isolated to skateboarding. It persists in every field, and especially in sports, because a lot of people hold their sport dearly. But just because you love something doesn't mean you can't look at it objectively. And just because you forgot what it was like to be a beginner doesn't mean that other beginners can't benefit from a more methodical approach than what you employed or what you remember employing. So if you guys are struggling, you're trying to learn, and you're trying to break things down, and you're hearing nonsensical noise from people around you telling you that breaking it down is not going to help, and you just need to go and try it, that is the worst advice anyone could ever give you. Take it from someone who's actually a good skater and who's actually been a good skateboarder for a very long time. The more methodical you are, the better you're going to learn things. Now, at some point, when you want to try something more difficult, you are going to have to roll the dice. That's a part of skateboarding. That's a part of any other sport. But practice deliberately, break down the movements, film yourself so you can see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and try to get rid of those bad movements. Thank you for supporting. Peace.